Good morning, YouTube. Hope everyone is having a great day out there. Welcome to another episode of Life of Brian. I'm here with my McLaren MP4-12C, also known as the 12C. And I thought I would do a 5 things video and change it up a little bit. Instead of 5 things I aggressively tolerate, we will do a 5 things I violently oppose about this great sports car, supercar, whatever people tend to call it. But no car is perfect, and this car is no exception. So let's get started. So the first thing that I violently oppose about this car, guys, is the mechanism by which you open the door. Now, fellow 12C owners or just enthusiasts in general, you probably know that in order to open this door, there's 2 different options. You can use the key fob, or you can do the method, which again looks really cool, unless you're failing about 3 or 4 times and people think you're trying to break into your own car. But you basically take the underside of your palm here, you slide it underneath, and that should unlock it. So there you go. There are times the charm. And then it opens. So that's actually the number one thing I aggressively oppose about this car. I mean, I get it, guys. It's kind of gimmicky. It's kind of quirky. Makes the car unique. In fact, when I picked up the car today from the garage, the gentleman, the valet who brought me the car, was like, "Hey, do you open the door like that, or do you use the key fob?" And I was like, "I use the key fob every single time." And for exactly the reason that you guys just saw, it took me three different tries to finally actually open the door. So usually, instead of doing the hand method, I will just take the key fob and open it that way. Of course, now that's not even working. There we go, and it opened. So ironically, that took me about 4 tries. So usually, I think the battery might be kind of low on this, but usually it's first time's the charm. But kind of ironic there that the hand method actually worked better than the key fob. But yeah, that's the first thing that I aggressively or violently oppose about this car. And I think I think other the subsequent 12Cs or McLarens after the fact had a button here that you press that would have the door open, because I guess sometimes these sensors will just go bad, or depending if your hands are wet, or like you saw, guys, I had to do it 3 times. So that's the first thing I aggressively and violently oppose about this car and wish was different. Sticking with the door, guys, the second thing I violently oppose about this car is the fact that the climate control buttons, as you guys see, is on the door. So when you go to close said door, inevitably, this whole piece and everything inside of it will kind of jar and move. I don't have the soft close doors. A lot of McLaren or a lot of 12C owners kind of complain that without installing kind of a soft close option, they kind of had to slam the door. I've never really had to slam the door. I mean, you guys saw right there. I mean, I just kind of closed it with just regular force, but I didn't slam it. And knowing that these units here are prone to break or stop working because of the constant slamming of the doors, if you will. And again, anything with a McLaren is not going to be cheap. So if these go out, I mean, I'm sure on YouTube there are different ways for you to do it yourself, but they're pretty expensive to fix. So yeah, I always thought that was kind of a curious thing, why these things are located here and not, I mean, I guess they wanted to keep everything very simple, very sleek, very uncluttered in the middle console here, control panel here. But I get, like, in my NSX there are vents here, so I've seen obviously things on the door, but yeah, the fact that these controls are here, and they do, at least from what I've seen on YouTube, at least in the research I did for Got My 12C, these do tend to go out. And the reason they go out is because of the repetitive closing of the door or slamming of the door, depending on, the situation with, that particular car. This is kind of another thing that I'm kind of just every day I'm turning, whenever I switch this on or I'm adjusting, I'm like, oh, when will that screen go blank? And I'll have to put out, I'm sure, several thousands of dollars to get it fixed. But that day hasn't come yet, knock on wood. But that's another thing that I violently oppose about this car, and I wish it was different. Staying in the interior, guys, number 3 and number 4. So the stereo system in this car is complete crap. And I get it. Like, you shouldn't buy a car because of the infotainment, because of the stereo, because of whatever. Like, I get that, and I don't. But this is noticeably horrible. No matter what you do with the treble or the bass or the surround sound or whatever, everything just sounds kind of distant, and the you know the, you don't really get any bass, or you sometimes I don't. It's kind of hard to describe, guys. It's just a horrible stereo system. Like, from some Ford or some Geo Metro or something. And the fact that it's in a, six-figure McLaren, um, is kind of troubling. But, again, I get it, guys. Like, hey, you're in a McLaren, drive it. You're there for the wonderful engine note and the speed and acceleration. You're not there for the radio. Totally get those things, guys. But again, this stereo in particular is just horrible. And again, there's nothing I've been able to do to kind of adjust it or fix it makes it any better. So that's definitely the third thing I aggressively and violently oppose about this car. Um, the fourth thing I violently oppose about the car, guys, is the buttons here, how you switch into gears, or switch into driving, neutral, reverse. Parking brake is there, but this thing I don't like, guys, because there's a lag. So for example, like I put the car, whenever I'm at a stoplight in particular, for some reason I'm like stuck in traffic, obviously I will put the car into neutral so it doesn't wear out the clutch. I've heard different things about that. Do you even need to do that? Yes, you should do that. So just to be safe, I just put the car into neutral. And there have been several times when, many times actually, when the light turns green, I'll press the drive button, and there's like sometimes you know a full 2-second lag, or sometimes I'll have to press it several times for it to go into gear. And obviously, because it's a 12C, because it's a McLaren, and these things are not the most reliable things, there have been many times when I'm like, oh crap, is the transmission going out on me? Or, like the third or fourth time I'm pressing, and finally it goes into gear. This is something where, I mean, I get it. People are like, okay, at the time, that's cool, it's unique. Of course, if this was a manual, I would have, killed for a manual. Hashtag save the manuals. But even like something like a knob or something, I do not like these buttons. Same thing when I had a Lincoln Navigator for a couple of years, and they had same kind of thing where you kind of press the buttons, drive, neutral, park, reverse, whatever. And I hated that. Like, I cannot stand buttons that you need to press to get into gear. I'd rather just have like a normal, shift lever, or, even for an automatic, obviously that's something that you press down or push, or, worst case scenario, like a knob that you rotate. But I cannot stand these push buttons because there's lag. And at least for my car, there have been many times when I've had to press it 3 or 4 times for it to actually go into gear. So that's annoying. And the fourth thing I violently oppose about this car. The fifth and final thing that I violently oppose about my McLaren 12C, guys, are the seats. These are incredibly uncomfortable. I don't know if it's just my weird back, but again, I obviously I've driven a lot of cars. I own a handful of cars, and out of all my cars, these seats are, I hate these seats. Now, I get it, they're kind of racing seats, so you're not going to get kind of that plush leather, fat, fluffy, poofy backing, which is totally understandable. A lot of people track these cars, and it's not really meant for comfort. But I don't know, like, I think there's just too little padding. And no matter what I do with the adjustments, maybe there needs to be more lumbar adjustment, or more adjustment where you can kind of get more lower back support. But my lower back in particular, when I drive this car, after about literally 5 minutes, it starts hurting, and I'll have to, recline the seat, move the seat forward, recline a little bit more, and just constantly kind of do that just to kind of alleviate the pain. But yeah, these seats I think are horrible. I hate them. They kill my back. I don't know why. Maybe because, again, there's not enough support, not enough bolstering. I'm not sure. But this is, when I first drove the car, I noticed it. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use this car much, because driving it literally is a pain. But they look nice, and for racing or tracking the car, I'm sure they're great. But in terms of like comfort, everyday driving, it definitely takes a toll on your back. It's not comfortable. Your back will be killing you. At least my back kills me constantly when I drive this car. And that's the fifth thing I violently oppose about my McLaren 12C. So those are the 5 things, guys, that I violently oppose about this car. Obviously, there are many things I love about the car. Obviously, those beautiful butterfly doors, scissor doors, whatever you might call them. Obviously, there's way more than enough horsepower and torque to satisfy that craving when you're looking to go fast. And obviously, I think the car looks incredible, even for being, you know, let's see, it's almost a 12-year-old car now, right about. So, but yeah, every car is flawed, and this one definitely has its flaws. But I still drive it a good amount. I would say, honestly, in terms of my supercars, this is probably the car I drive the most, just because it's the easiest to drive. But there are definitely things that I wish were different or improved upon. And those are the 5 things I violently oppose about my McLaren 12C. So hope you guys like the video. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, like and subscribe. Please support the channel. And hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.